Usually when we talk about a medical diagnosis, there is this comforting expectation of precision.
Oh, absolutely. It feels like engineering or something.
Right. You break your arm, the x-ray shows that jagged white line in the bone, and the doctor just points at it.
Yeah, they just say, there it is. It's visible. It's categorized. Broken or not broken.
Exactly. It's a binary system. We crave that kind of certainty because it gives us a clear path forward.
I mean, you put a cast on it, you wait 6 weeks, it heals. The narrative is just incredibly straightforward.
But then, you step into the world of severe neurodevelopmental injury or profound psychological trauma.
And suddenly that x-ray machine is completely useless.
Totally useless. We are looking at a diagnostic landscape that is entirely murky. And that murkiness becomes terrifying when it's your own mind you can't trust.
Yeah, that's the scariest part.
So welcome to today's deep dive. If you are joining us, you are sitting down with two obsessive readers who are just, thrilled to unpack an incredibly dense, haunting narrative with you today.
It's a story that absolutely shatters our need for those clean, binary medical answers. I mean, it forces us to look at the collateral damage of survival.
It really does. Today, we are looking at the horrifying reality of waking up in a body you barely recognize, inside a house that is, actively keeping secrets from you.
Which is just a terrifying concept.
Right. And trying to figure out if your own mother is your caregiver or your captor. We are zeroing in on a pivotal section of Troy St. James's novel, In Darkness We Sleep.
Specifically, Part 1, Chapter 1, Truth and the Meaning of Life.
Yes. The mission of today's deep dive is to dissect the surreal, incredibly fragile first days of our protagonist, Jason Matherson, who has just returned to his childhood home after waking up from a 2-year coma. So are you ready for what's coming?
I am.
Awesome. Then let's jump straight into the deep end of Jason's physical reality, because the opening image of this chapter is just striking.
It really sets the tone for everything.
It does. Let's get into another deep dive of In Darkness We Sleep by Troy St. James. Here we go.
Oh my gosh.
Part 1. Jason Matherson. Alas, the fleeting years go by. Chapter 1. Truth and the Meaning of Life. Lucas Brooks and Ellen Farbner crossed the street to the tiny white Victorian and entered through a gate of its picket fence. Mrs. Matherson met them midway from the porch. She was in a house dress of blue floral and held the remains of a long-forgotten head of lettuce. "Lucas, how's your mother these days? Don't see either of you around much anymore." The two visitors, a couple, who were in their mid-20s, came dressed appropriately for the warm weather, in shorts and t-shirts. "She's fine, Miss McDonald. Ellen's father got that job he's been looking into. Suspect you heard?" Ellen added, "The newspaper job. He's been bragging all over town." Gloria Matherson, her maiden name was McDonald, smiled and walked past them nodding, saying nothing because she knew Mr. Farbner was not suited for any newspaper job, other than delivery. She dropped the lettuce in a garbage can and gestured to the pile of discarded things behind the can, saying, "Ellen, the baby stroller is back here." A loose piece of canvas covered two plastic handles. Ellen pulled the old stroller into the open front yard and tested the wheels on the rough lawn. Good enough. She would be able to replace it as soon as Lucas was working. She was reminded that beggars can't be choosers, but she was unable to keep the frown from forming on her face. The stroller was beaten up and clearly more than 10 years old. It actually looked like it was picked up from the alley behind Mrs. McDonald's house, as the story goes. She said thanks. Gloria returned to the house and her son. She said, "Hey, looky here." He turned from the window where he was watching the two neighbors pushing a stroller through the front gate. The girl was complaining about their lack of funds and the quality of the stroller she had just gotten. Jason was standing there completely nude, bracing himself for a fall with his right hand held tightly to the molding. His left arm, the dead arm, was hanging to his side. Gloria smiled and blushed a little, even though she had seen her son's body for the past few years. Somehow he was different now, standing there. He was her son, and he would prefer his privacy. He didn't take any notice. Jason moved back to the bed and climbed in. No strength, he said as he tried to adjust himself with only one arm. "Can you fix me something to eat, Mom?" She hurried out, eager to please. In the distance, he heard a frying pan slam down on the stove and then the kissing sound from the refrigerator as she pulled open the huge doors. She fixed him a single scrambled egg, a slice of toast, and a glass of orange juice. He took the juice from her and drank a good portion of it. His stomach, although encountering such acidity so quickly, didn't reject it. He froze, waiting for the inevitable, eyes moving to the lantern hanging from the ceiling, and moved the glass back up to his mouth. He sipped once more and licked his dry lips, which burned. He wasn't about to tell his mom that the orange juice was the worst thing she could have given him, but it was so good. The first real drink in years. "You'd figure a man of your size was strong as an ox." She looked his body up and down, seeing the slumping shoulders and saggy muscles of his chest. He really didn't look healthy for a man his size. As if to excuse herself, she added, "Feeding you was near impossible, but the feeding tube Willie added helped you eat protein drinks. You just didn't get enough, is all." Jason eyed the scrambled eggs and toast and traded the glass for the plate. The eggs were bland, but she made it with the non-stick spray and not butter. He figured his diet would be restricted until he was back to normal. "I smell cinnamon." She sniffed the air. There was nothing in the air. She concluded, "I baked about a month ago. Maybe it's from then." He looked back to the window and then to his mom's face. Was I asleep? Gloria froze. "When did I get up today?" She didn't answer. Gloria walked with dreamy slowness from her son's bedside to the stairs and up to his small bedroom, where his son grew up. Her eyes were unblinking and unfocused, as if a sleepwalk had taken her on a mission. She pulled the door closed, revealing a desert camouflage battle dress uniform, BDU, hanging on the back of the bedroom door. It was covered with a dry cleaning plastic bag. Her heart sunk, and she leaned her face until it pressed into the plastic. The uniform offered firm and comforting support. She waited for a moment, eyes open, praying the moment would end before she had to. She unhooked the uniform from the door and laid it on the tiny bed, where she removed the plastic cover and pulled the jacket off the hanger. The breast was not decorated, but showed small holes where pins once hung. After a deep breath, Gloria walked back downstairs and held up the coat as she walked into the room. He was still sitting up. A perplexed look formed on his face when he saw the jacket. The badge on the breast read, "Matherson." There was no recognition in his eyes. He reached out for the coat and touched the lapel, exploring the texture with his fingers. It was rough, very stiff. "Mom, please." His brows raised and he asked, "Am I in the army?" A tear rolled down Gloria's cheek and she answered her son, "Yes, but you're here now. Home."
We find Jason standing at the bedroom window of his childhood home, and he is completely nude.
Just entirely stripped down.
Right. And he is gripping the window molding with his right hand, literally just to keep himself from collapsing under his own weight.
Yeah, physical toll is massive.
And meanwhile, his left arm is completely useless. The text describes it as a dead arm, a result of his traumatic injuries, and it uses this visceral comparison. It says his arm hangs there like a sock full of pennies.
Wow. That phrase alone carries so much weight, a sock full of pennies.
It's such a heavy image.
It implies a complete loss of internal structure. When you suffer the kind of severe upper motor neuron lesion that Jason likely has, which results in monoplegia, the paralysis of a single limb, you aren't just dealing with weakness.
Right.
You lose muscle tone, but you also lose proprioception.
Proprioception being the brain's ability to know where the body is in space, right?
Yes, exactly. Without that neurological feedback loop, the brain literally stops mapping the limb.
Oh, wow. So it's just gone from his mental map.
Yeah, so to Jason, that arm doesn't even feel like a part of his own body anymore. It feels like a heavy foreign object tethered to his shoulder.
That is just horrifying.
And standing there nude at the window, we are witnessing the total stripping away of adult dignity. I mean, here's a 30-year-old man, a highly trained soldier, reduced to an almost infantile state of helplessness.
He's starting from zero.
He has been quite literally reborn into the world, naked, struggling against gravity, trying to reorient himself in a space that should be a safe haven but feels, entirely alien.
Add to that the jarring contrast of what's happening outside that window. Normal life is just, continuing. It's relentlessly mundane.
Yeah, the world didn't stop for him.
Not at all. We see his neighbors, Lucas Brooks and Ellen Farbner, walking through the front gate, and what are they doing? They're complaining.
Of course they are.
Ellen is pushing this beaten-up 10-year-old baby stroller that the narrative implies she scavenged from the alley behind Jason's mother's house.
Which is such a specific, gritty detail.
It is, and she is just loudly complaining about their lack of money and the poor quality of this rusted stroller.
The juxtaposition there is brilliant. You have Jason suspended in the silent void of a coma for 24 months, looking out at the petty, everyday economic frictions of his neighbors.
It's like two different universes.
It visually isolates him. He is physically occupying space in this neighborhood again, but he exists entirely outside of its social and economic reality.
Because he hasn't been participating in it.
Exactly. Those neighbors represent the unstoppable forward motion of time. They have been buying things, struggling, aging, and living, while Jason has been trapped in a state of suspended animation.
And while he's desperately clinging to the window molding, just trying to process this super mundane scene outside, his mother, Gloria, walks into the bedroom.
This is such a critical moment.
It is. She sees him standing there completely naked, and her reaction is incredibly telling. She blushes a little bit, but Troy St. James notes this distinct detachment in her eyes.
Yeah, that detachment is key.
She looks at him, and she realizes that the coma has fundamentally rewired him. Like, he is still her son, but he has become someone completely untethered from normal social conventions.
Right. Things like privacy or modesty or shame.
They just don't register for him anymore.
That detachment on Gloria's part is a deeply ingrained survival mechanism. I mean, think about what she has endured.
2 years of hell, basically.
Exactly. For 2 years, she has been standing over a hospital bed at Columbia Hospital watching her son's body deteriorate. She has likely had to participate in, or at least witness, incredibly intimate, invasive care for him.
Like bathing him, turning him to prevent bed sores, all of that.
Yes. The coma erased the typical boundaries between a parent and an adult child. But seeing him vertical, seeing him awake and stripped down, both literally and figuratively, forces her to confront the reality that he is a grown man again.
But a grown man who's entirely dependent on her.
Right. It's a jarring shift.
And he is so exhausted just from the act of standing up that he has to practically collapse back into bed. He tells her he has absolutely, quote, no strength, and he asks her to fix him something to eat.
Which leads to a scene that is just fascinating from a medical perspective.
It absolutely floored me. So Gloria is so eager to please him, she practically sprints to the kitchen. And let's look at what she prepares for a man who has not digested solid food in 2 years.
Let's hear it.
She makes a single scrambled egg cooked with non-stick spray, a dry slice of toast, and a juice glass full of orange juice.
I mean, it sounds like the quintessential comforting American breakfast.
But wait, we have to look at the biology of this. Giving a man who has survived solely on a synthetic protein drip through a feeding tube for 24 months a highly acidic glass of orange juice.
That was a terrible idea.
It's medical madness. It is the equivalent of pouring battery acid into an empty engine block. His stomach lining, the gastric mucosa, must be incredibly atrophied.
Yeah, it hasn't been used in years.
His gut microbiome is practically non-existent. You don't restart a dormant digestive system with citric acid.
Your analogy highlights the exact terrifying reality of this situation. This menu exposes Gloria's complete and utter lack of medical preparedness.
She has no idea what she's doing.
None.
Yeah.
Remember, she essentially kidnapped her son from the hospital. She smuggled him out with the help of a rogue orderly named Willie.
Right. She didn't get proper clearance.
She didn't sit through discharge planning. She has no dietary guidelines, no physical therapy schedule. She's operating purely on a desperate maternal instinct to recreate a sense of domestic normalcy.
It's like she's playing house.
Exactly. She isn't treating him like a critical care patient who just woke up from a massive neurological trauma. She's treating him like a 10-year-old boy who stayed home sick from school with the sniffles.
Like, oh, here is some eggs and orange juice, sweetie. You'll feel better.
It's terrifying how she masks medical negligence with maternal care.
It really is. But here's the crazy part. His stomach actually accepts it.
Which is a miracle in itself.
Right. He drinks the juice, and the text describes him freezing, just waiting for his stomach to cramp and revolt. But it holds, and the narrative focuses intensely on the burning sensation of that acidic juice on his dry, cracked lips.
That physical detail is so grounded.
It burns, but it acts as this profound anchor to his physical reality. It is the first real sharp thing he has consumed in years.
I mean, imagine tasting something that sharp, that violently acidic and sweet after years of complete sensory deprivation.
It must be overwhelming.
For 2 years, Jason's entire universe has been the dark internal landscape of his own misfiring synapses. He's had to hallucinate his sensations.
Wow.
Now, a physical world is aggressively asserting itself upon him. That burning on his lips is pain, absolutely, but it is the pain of being alive. It is undeniable, tangible proof that he has crossed back over from the void.
It is like a sensory shock therapy. But almost the very second he gets grounded by that real, tangible taste of the orange juice, his brain throws him a curveball.
The reality starts to slip again.
The reality he just anchored himself to begins to crack. And this brings us to a moment that shifts the entire tone of the house. Jason is sitting there, chewing his bland, non-stick spray egg, and suddenly he stops.
He gets a new input.
Yeah, out of nowhere, he looks at his mother and says, "I smell cinnamon."
Cinnamon. A scent so distinct and usually so heavily associated with domestic comfort and warmth.
Right, you think of baking, you think of holidays, yet Gloria's reaction is anything but comfortable. It is deeply unsettling.
Oh, she reacts.
She stops what she's doing, she sniffs the air, and then she just freezes. She completely freezes up.
That's a huge red flag.
Jason is using this scent to try and orient himself. He starts asking basic questions like, was I asleep? When did I get up today? And Gloria, still frozen, offers this highly suspicious, totally unbelievable excuse.
Oh boy, what does she say?
She claims, I baped about a month ago. A month ago.
A month ago. It is an incredibly clumsy lie. Cinnamon doesn't linger for a month.
Which makes you wonder how much of that is intentional control versus pure, unadulterated panic on her part. Like, why does Gloria freeze like that? Is she consciously gaslighting him, intentionally trying to keep him confused? Or is she just terrified that his recovering mind is starting to poke holes in the little domestic terrarium she's built?
It's probably a mix of both, but mostly panic. Because that mention of cinnamon clearly triggers a massive spike of anxiety in her.
You can feel the tension in the room.
Gloria freezing when he smells cinnamon is like a bomb technician realizing someone just tripped a tripwire.
That's a great way to put it.
She isn't just telling a white lie. She's desperately trying to stop a psychological detonation. When Jason asks, was I asleep? He's starting to probe the edges of his missing time.
The 2 years he doesn't know he lost.
Exactly. He doesn't yet fully grasp the terrifying scope of it. If Gloria tells him the truth in that moment, that he was nearly killed in a combat zone in Iraq, that he's been in a coma, that the life he remembers is entirely gone, she risks completely shattering his fragile psychological state.
And let's be honest, she risks shattering her own fragile reality, too.
Precisely. We cannot forget that Gloria is a victim of profound trauma here as well. She has lived in a suffocating state of suspended grief for 24 months.
That takes a toll on a person.
This gaslighting, if we want to call it that, is likely a massive defense mechanism. She wants to prolong this quiet, safe, domestic illusion for as long as humanly possible. The smell of cinnamon, whether it is a hallucination or a memory misfiring, represents Jason's brain trying to connect dots that Gloria has spent 2 years desperately trying to keep disconnected.
Right, and because she can't answer his questions verbally without giving the game away, she resorts to a physical action to deflect.
She has to escape the conversation.
She doesn't answer him about the sleep. Instead, she walks upstairs, and the text describes her moving with a dreamy slowness.
Dreamy slowness, that's very specific.
He's compared to a sleepwalker on a mission, her eyes completely unfocused.
That is classic dissociation. Yes. The reality of the moment, the pressure of his questions, is too heavy for her nervous system to process, so she goes on autopilot. She retreats into a fugue state to perform a task because engaging with him directly is too dangerous.
That makes so much sense. So she goes up to his small childhood bedroom, and hanging on the back of the bedroom door is a desert camouflage battle dress uniform, a BDU.
The uniform. This is huge.
It is. It is covered in one of those clear plastic dry cleaning bags. And the physical detail of her interaction with this uniform is heartbreaking.
What does she do?
Before she takes it off the hook, her heart visibly sinks, and she leans her face into the plastic for support.
Gosh.
The text says the uniform offers her firm and comforting support. Only after she grounds herself against it does she bring it downstairs to Jason.
Troy St. James is a master at using texture to convey psychological weight. When Jason touches that uniform, the narrative slows down to focus on the tactile details.
Like what he actually feels.
Right. He touches the lapel. It's rough. It's incredibly stiff. But the most devastating detail is that there are tiny, frayed holes in the fabric where pins used to be. And above the breast pocket, a badge that simply reads Matherson.
But when he looks at it, there is zero recognition in his eyes. None.
Imagine the absolute horror of discovering your own identity through a prop handed to you by someone else.
It's like amnesia in a movie, but so much darker.
You are an empty vessel, a blank slate, and your mother hands you this stiff, rough camouflage jacket and essentially says, here, this is who you are.
Wow.
Those tiny holes where the pins used to be are profound symbols of his current state. The medals, the commendations, the specific heroic or traumatic actions that defined his military career, they have all been stripped away.
They're just gone.
Only the empty, frayed holes remain, mirroring the massive gaps in Jason's own memory.
He feels the rough fabric, he looks at the name tape, and he asks his mother with total sincerity, like a child asking about the world, am I in the army?
And how does she reply?
And Gloria, with a single tear rolling down her cheek, replies, yes, but you're here now. Home.
It is a devastating double-edged confirmation. She's giving him his profession, but she's immediately trying to strip all the inherent danger away from it.
Trying to sanitize it.
Exactly. She is telling him, yes, you are a soldier, but the war is over for you. You are in this house. You are safe.
But that military jacket isn't just a prop for Jason's identity. It's a physical tether, dragging his brain back into the exact nightmare his mother is trying to hide him from.
It backfires on her.
Completely. That uniform acts as a massive psychological trigger. It plunges Jason's subconscious right back into the dark, terrifying dreamscape that he inhabited while he was in the coma.
Physical objects hold immense associative power. The rough texture of the BDU is enough to bypass his conscious amnesia and unlock the vault of his buried trauma.
We have something exciting to share. We have a message from Troy St. James giving us an insider detail from In Darkness We Sleep.
I mean, it is always such a thrill when we get a direct dispatch from the creator, right?
Absolutely.
Because it completely changes the landscape of how we look at the material.
Yeah.
We aren't just analyzing some static story anymore.
Right. It's like we're getting a glimpse into the actual architecture of the universe he's building.
Exactly. And, knowing the blueprint well, it changes how you view the entire foundation.
It really does. Because, okay, the massive news here is that the Darkness series is officially a trilogy.
A trilogy.
Yeah.
Wow.
We are not just looking at a standalone story of a man waking up from a coma anymore. We're looking at this sprawling, deeply interconnected narrative arc.
Which is huge.
Right. And Troy St. James revealed that the upcoming second installment, this is the best part, is actually going to be a prequel.
Wow.
It's titled In Dreams We Live.
In Dreams We Live. Man, that title alone provides such an interesting, almost haunting counterweight to In Darkness We Sleep.
Yeah, totally.
It suggests we're going to explore the active, conscious, perhaps wildly out-of-control world that, preceded the utter silence of the coma.
We're moving from the prison of the mind back out into the chaos of the real world.
Exactly.
And the message detailed that this prequel is going to cover the origins of the drugs, the greed, the intense power dynamics at play.
Which are so crucial.
And crucially, yeah, the mysterious past of our main character, Jason Matherson. It's going to lay the groundwork for everything we're about to discuss today.
Right. We're going to find out how the dominoes were set up before they all just, came crashing down in that devastating, mysterious accident.
Yes. And for everyone listening right now, this new installment is coming this year.
That's so soon.
I know. And it'll be released in book, ebook, and podcast formats.
I mean, it is going to be essential reading or listening, obviously, for anyone trying to piece together the full puzzle of Jason's life.
For sure.
Its tree contextualizes everything. Because suddenly, Jason isn't just like a passive victim of a tragic car crash. He's an active player in this much larger, darker game.
Which changes everything. Knowing that there's this vast conspiracy of greed and power hovering over him, it makes his vulnerability in that hospital bed 1,000 times more terrifying.
Oh, absolutely.
And let me just confirm this for you right now. For everyone listening, we will absolutely be back to cover it.
Oh, without a doubt.
This is Troy. I wanted to thank you for listening and hope that you tune in for my weekly presentation of In Darkness We Sleep. Vocals by Eric Neubauer and Troy St. James. Music and episode art provided by Robert McNichol. I can be contacted directly at troystjames@cox.net. This audio podcast is produced by Troy St. James, copyright 2012. Have a good night.